Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to a beautiful summer's day here at Goodwood Motor Circuit. Now, behind me is a car that I've been trolling on Instagram for absolutely ages. You may well have seen my review of the brand new Audi RS4 Avant in Nardo Grey. Well, this is a friend of a friend's car, again obviously Nardo Grey. It's an RS6, but it's a very, very special RS6. Because that puppy has 750 horsepower. Oh yeah, and I'm going to get to drive it today. So I thought you'd like to have a look around. Mega spec on this car, and the owner has been very kind and said I'm going to be allowed to drive it. So let's get cracking and take a look at this car. I think it's going to be quite good. So the first notable thing on the outside of this car is this. So it's fitted with the titanium Akrapovic exhaust system. I've only heard this car do a startup and it sounded absolutely biblical. So I think it would be rude not to start it, give it a rev, but we're going to try our best to get the noise of this thing when it's in motion because it just sounds mega. Apart from that, on the outside, very little done to this car. What Jamie, the owner, has done though is it's currently got some spacers, so you can maybe work out those wheels just feel the arches a little bit more. Now we're just talking this morning, those spacers at the moment 10 mil, but I think he's going to get those taken back down to about 8 mil because they're just that little bit too out. But that just gives the car a really, really cool stance. And then when we get going on the road, we'll talk more about what's happened to the engine under the bonnet to basically give it 200 more horsepower than you would normally get in an RS6. So it's about time that we took this RS6 up the road for a bit of a drive. But I've driven an RS6 and an RS7 and I have to say, one thing I never thought was, this car's not got enough power. But very briefly what Jamie's had done to this. So as I said, it's got the Akrapovic exhaust system. It's had a stage 2 remap, uprated spark plugs, uprated downpipe and different air filters for breathing. That gives it a quite mind-blowing 750 bhp, but get ready for this, torque figure 1037 newton meters of torque. That thing is going to pull like a train. So we're going to jump in the car, we're going to get it up the road now. I'm on the public road today, so it's lovely. It's a very, very dry day, which will help, but you can only really push the performance of a car like that when you're on a motor circuit. And sadly, although we are actually at Goodwood Motor Circuit and there's the most insane track day on at the moment, the Duke of Richmond has one of his track days on at the moment. There's some mega cars in there. We can't exploit the full potential of this car, but we can certainly have a good feel of what it's like on the public road. But over 1,000 newton meters of torque, come on, what's that going to feel like? Okay guys, so out we go. Now the feel of this car is very, very standard RS6, although I have noticed, so Jamie sat just off camera, I'm not going to get him on camera, you might hear him screaming every now and again. I have noticed these extended gear paddles, which are very cool. They're like sort of carbon, are they just stuck on?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Oh, they're really smart. So the soundtrack from the back of this car at feather throttle is brilliant. So heaven knows what it's like once we kind of open the taps a little bit. So I'm clearly going to be taking my time getting the hang of this car. Because I've done so many Audi reviews before, I've just stuck it in dynamic everything. I don't think we need to kind of go through the RS6 review. If you want to do that, then check out my RS6 review. I'll put a card above. I want to just understand this car and just how different it feels once it's had all of that kind of extra horsepower and extra torque added. And all that extra noise from that Akrapovic exhaust. So we're going to head out to try and get some quiet roads. So I'm just going to concentrate for the next 5 minutes and just get my head around this car. One thing I'm going to do is stick it into the manual box, just pop the selectors to the left. I'm now just wait for a bit of open road. It's such a menacing growl coming from the back of this car. So this is the Audi fit Akrapovic exhaust as well. So if you've watched the Mr. JWW sticking that on his RS6 Performance, it's the same exhaust as that. It's bloody loud. That was about half throttle. Yes. You are kidding me. Alright, okay, I've got to do that again. Flipping out. And I'm on about three quarters throttle there. It just pulls and pulls and pulls, and it sounds awesome. So this is easily the most powerful car I've driven now. Before that it was that Nissan GTR at 675 brake, 750 brake. And actually, sort of 3,000 to 5,000 RPM, it doesn't feel that different to just a really fast Audi, but when it spools up and you're really on cam, it's bloody unbelievable, this thing. Oh man, I want one. I knew I shouldn't have done this. Wow. Do you let many people drive your car?
No, never.
Never?
No.
So you don't get the kind of reaction from what someone else?
Yeah.
I've driven some really, really quick cars. I'm just going to have to take stock of this. That is mega fast.
I think.
But you've had it on runway, so we are going to borrow a bit of your footage of it doing a proper flat out acceleration on runway, which I will run now. So as you can see from that footage, when you get this on a runway or somewhere where you're not having to worry about speed limits, it just pulls and pulls. It's just phenomenal, this thing. So you drive this car, the noise from the back is just absolutely ridiculous, but it's magic. I honestly can't remember, with the exception of maybe an Aston Martin Vanquish S, which was pretty loud. The noise though this thing makes is just brilliant. Here we go. So, oh dear me, and out of this corner, and wow! So I'm not using full throttle there at all, but when you change up, the bark stroke crack that comes out of that exhaust is just brilliant. Oh dear. And you know, you got your four-wheel drive, but the interesting thing that's going through the back of my mind is, even though I've got four-wheel drive, it's a lovely warm sunny day, I've still got over 1,000 Newton meters of torque, 750 brake, and that's enough to break traction in this, I am sure, if you push your throttle down in the wrong place, you know, mid-corner or whatever. But it does give you a lot of confidence. And it was interesting, when I drove that GTR, it was raining and a horrible wet day, And it was actually quite a scary test drive because I was just convinced that the car was going to try and kill me. I don't get that feeling in this car quite as much, but it's still there. It's so noisy and so in your face. It's going, come on then, drive me, but I'll bite you in the arse if you're not careful. But it's just a brilliant car. Oh, you know me guys, I love my Audis. I really do love my Audis, and I've been very lucky to driven some pretty quick ones. I've driven the RS4, I've driven the R8 V10 Plus, I've driven the RS6, the RS7. None of them can hold a candle to this. It's just brilliant. Even the R8 V10 Plus, I mean, I drove that in the wet too, and it was probably my first supercar, but this thing, you could probably match that, and you've got room for 5 people in the back and a dog in the boot. What a car! Okay guys, I am going to do a 0 to 60. I'm not going to use launch control. I'm just going to bury my foot and just see what happens, because I think it's going to be quite dramatic. I'm in sport mode, so 3, 2, 1. 60! Jesus! Oh my God! Yeah, I'm just going to pull over for a moment and have a moment there. That was just, mate, your car is fast.
Yeah, it's quick, isn't it? A big estate is a bit of a sleeper. Sorry.
Oh, you can feel the wheels just scrabbling for grip there. So that's just pulling like a train in 4th gear. And to be quite honest, the traction like... I don't have the seat time in this car, or quite frankly the stones to put my foot into the carpet. I can imagine it takes quite a while to understand when that's acceptable and safe, and also just, you know, it's not my car. I'm always massively appreciative when I have owners like Jamie who sat really quietly in the passenger seat who let me drive their beautiful cars, and it's a real privilege to do that, and I always have to make sure that I take that responsibility and don't end up doing something stupid like sticking the car in a ditch. But it's just a magic thing, this. And it sounds ace. Oh wow, so my final thoughts on this car. Wow, honestly, it's properly taken my breath away, because it's an assault on the senses. The noise this thing makes is just on another level, and when I just don't have all the bottle to fully smash the throttle into the carpet, but when you do that, the response. And it's not the really early part of acceleration, which is impressive, don't get me wrong. It's the mid-range stuff. Once it kind of gets into 2nd and 3rd and starts to spool up, the torque really pays dividends. And you can feel the car pulling, you can feel the wheels dragging into the tarmac to just try and get any ounce of traction they can. And it's just phenomenal. And unfortunately, because we're on the public road, you kind of have to stop. But see, that's 4th gear mid-range, and that is utterly fantastic. So yeah, to get this car on some unrestricted runway or something would be just brilliant. But I have to say a massive thank you to the gentleman sat to my left, because he's not let anybody else drive this car before, and it's a great privilege, and it's been very, very special. There are a couple of things, I know these are bound to come up in the questions about warranty. The exhaust on here, because it's an Audi system or an Audi approved system, that doesn't invalidate your warranty, but the work Jamie's done, he's kind of just, look, I kind of understand that that's not going to do great things to my warranty, and that's fair enough. So that's bound to be a question, but this thing is, it's just brilliant. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching that as much as I've enjoyed making it. It's been an absolute hoot, complete riot. I love this car to pieces. I think it looks stunning from the outside. You know I love Nardo Grey. It's biblically fast from the inside, but I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. But from behind the wheel of this 750 horsepower Audi RS6, you take care, guys. I'll see you on the next film. Drive safe.